Hey, what's going on everyone? It's Griffin here and I hope you're all having a great day as always. Now, today's video is actually somewhat a part 2 to a video that I've made now over 2 years ago. So definitely long overdue. And over the past 2 years, I have had a steady stream of viewers asking for an update on Wealthsimple Invest's platform. So that's exactly what we'll be doing in today's video. Now, chances are you're well aware of what Wealthsimple is. After all, I speak about this company quite regularly on the channel and use their investing and tax filing products myself. And this is a company that, even though like all other online brokerages and financial service companies, they do have some pitfalls, but at the end of the day, I really find that Wealthsimple offers one of the best suite of products for Canadian investors. And what started off as a robo trading platform exclusively has since blossomed into a full line of products and services, including their original robo trading platform, which is now called Wealthsimple Invest, and that's what we'll be speaking about in today's video, along with other products like Wealthsimple Trade that I speak about a lot on the channel, which is great for active retail investors in Canada, along with their Wealthsimple crypto platform, Wealthsimple Cash, and most recently their rebranding of Simple Tax, which is now called Wealthsimple Tax, and that is a free-to-use online tax filing platform. Now, I do want to mention that since I'm an active stock investor and I like to have more control over all these stocks, ETFs, and other positions that I buy and sell in my platform, I mainly use Wealthsimple Trade, which is their discount online stock brokerage. And by the way, make sure to check out the video I'm overlaying right here if you want more information about Wealthsimple Trade. But with that said, I've still maintained a much smaller RRSP account within Wealthsimple Invest so that I could make an update video like this for everyone who was wondering. So that's just it. Today's video is going to start off with a slight recap about what Wealthsimple Invest in, and then following that, we're going to be diving into my own Wealthsimple Invest account so that we can see what ended up happening with that account over the past 2 years of investing. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, make sure to smash the like button and let's get right into it. Alright, so for those of you who may not be familiar with Wealthsimple Invest, this is essentially a robo-advising investment platform. And that might sound complicated, but it's really not. Essentially, you open up an account, you input information about yourself relating to your personal life as well as your finances, and then the platform is going to create an investor profile for you based on your risk tolerance and other investment objectives. And then from there, it will create a portfolio with exchange-traded funds allocated properly for your goals as an investor, making it really easy to essentially put your investing on autopilot. Now, the initial account setup and creation of your investor profile based on the questions that Wealthsimple asks you is really important because, like with everything else that I speak about on this channel, having a strategy for your investing, whether or not it's with stock market investing, real estate investing, or any other type of investing for that matter, it's really important that you have a strategy based on your needs, risk tolerances, and other criteria. So this is something that Wealthsimple Invest does really well. They ask you a series of questions, and then from there, they're going to create a portfolio based out of a 1 to 10 scale of your risk tolerance and craft that portfolio in accordance to the different asset allocations for fixed income or equity positions. These accounts on a 1 to 10 scale range from ultra conservative with a significantly higher weight towards fixed income positions all the way to a growth oriented position with a higher allocation towards equity positions. As we can see here on the website, well, depending on your risk tolerance, the distribution of your funds is going to be allocated between 8 different asset classes, with the fixed income positions made up of government bonds, corporate bonds, and gold, while the equity positions include emerging markets, foreign stocks, global stocks, US stocks, as well as Canadian stocks. And you will have noticed on that previous page there that these portfolios are created using exchange-traded funds, ETFs for short, exclusively. And this allows the portfolios to essentially lower the overall volatility because the assets are spread out across multiple different positions within each one of those funds and in turn within your portfolio. And if you're an active viewer of my channel, then you're definitely well aware of my liking towards ETFs for retail investors. And I'm not going to spend time reiterating why that is in today's video. Definitely check out my other content if you're interested in that. But essentially, Wealthsimple Invest is going to create a portfolio for you with exchange traded funds. And I think that for a passive retail investor, this is a great solution. Now, I also want to mention that although in my actively managed stock portfolios that are outside of Wealthsimple Invest, I always maintain a much larger portion of the weight of my portfolio in equities rather than fixed income. And this is because of my investor profile, risk tolerance, and investment horizon. But for some reason, when I set up my Wealthsimple Invest account a couple of years back, I put it on a risk tolerance of around 4. And for this reason, the portfolio was a 50-50 split between fixed income and equity. This obviously had a major impact on the returns that I generated over that period of time. And we're going to be jumping into the platform now to see what ended up happening and what I've done since. And quickly before we jump into my account, let's just take a quick look at the fees that Wealthsimple charges. So the basic account with a value between $0 and $100,000, which is what I have had since the beginning, has fees of 0.5% annually. And do also keep in mind that this is above the potential management fees charged for the ETFs in question, which we'll be looking at shortly. The basic plan also comes with auto rebalancing, dividend reinvesting, and auto deposits if you're interested in that feature. Essentially, this means that every single time you're depositing cash into your Wealthsimple Invest account, it's going to automatically rebalance the portfolio and allocate those funds based on your investor profile. So yeah, these fees might be a little too high for some investors, but I think for the right group of investors who really want a passive way to approach their investments, they can contribute monthly and basically just forget about it. The platform does everything for them. I think that the 0.5% management fees are well worth it. All right, so with all that said, let's now dive into my own Wealthsimple Invest account to see how the portfolio has performed over the past 2 years. All right, so now that Wealthsimple offers multiple different products and they are all available on desktop, well, when you log into your account on desktop, this is what you are presented with. So you have the option of either Wealthsimple Invest and Cash, which is what we'll be looking at today, or you can go into your trade and crypto platform. They have it sort of separated based on those elements. So let's just go into the Wealthsimple Invest and Cash, which is what this video is about today. Net file. Okay, yeah, by the way, you can also do Wealthsimple tax straight through this platform, but that's not what we're going to be doing today. So as you can see here, this is the main dashboard that you're presented with. So we can see straight off the bat here that I have an RRSP account, and this is the one I was talking about earlier, where it's a smaller account that I've just kept for RRSPs only within Wealthsimple Invest, so I can make a video like today. And quite simply, we can see an account balance on it of $9,654.19. So let's just click on that quickly so that we can head on over to it. And quite simply, we can see that the returns over time are 2.7%. And this might seem somewhat low, and to be honest, it kind of is, at returns of $256.19 as of right now. This dashboard right here is once you actually click on the account in question, right? I have multiple different accounts here that they're all pretty much savings account except for the RSP that we're looking at right now. And you'll notice that the risk level is at 10, which is growth, right? You can change that within the platform, and consider what I said earlier, that before I had it at a risk level of 4. And at a risk level of 4, this was a 50-50 split between the equity and the fixed income and gold positions. I only just changed this about last week when I realized, and well, hopefully this is going to have a larger impact on the growth longer term of the portfolio. This right here is obviously just a quick little example of compound interest of the account and how much it is expected to be worth at a certain age. But none of this is concrete or set in stone because, well, the markets are somewhat unpredictable longer term. But in the big picture, typically over a longer term or time frame that is that you're investing in the stock market, it will go up. But yeah, so now with a risk level of 10, had I had it like this for the past, let's say 2 years, or since the account was opened, when was the account open? Around, July 15, 2019. So it's been over 2 years. Had I had it at a risk level of around 10 since then, it probably would be at a value, the returns would probably be above 10%, I'm assuming. We can see right here the growth of the actual value over time. This was in March 2020 when the stock market went down around 30%. And since then, the growth was somewhat stable. But at the end of the day, the type of growth at a 50-50 portfolio split is going to be significantly lower than if you have a higher portion in equity positions. And another thing to consider is that you can see that the portfolio has always been a very small balance, right? So initially it was at just under $11,000, and around this time frame right here, I withdrew a substantial amount, around half of it, because I was buying one of my first properties that was owner occupied. This is a program that the federal government of Canada allows you to do. Essentially, you can withdraw from your RRSP without any penalties with the use of buying a first property. I think it's called the first home buyer incentive or whatnot. If you're looking for your first property, by the way, I would definitely recommend this. So that's what I did. But for basically 2 years almost, I had around between $5,000 and $6,000 in the account based on how it fluctuated. And only recently, I just made a small deposit to this RRSP account, kind of at the same time that I changed it to a risk level of 10. Now, if we do go back though to the plan, I want to take a look at the holdings and show you what these holdings look like. So we can see here the equity portion is 89%, and then the fixed income and gold is now at 11%. By the way, the gold is somewhat new to Wealthsimple. I'd say it was about maybe 5-6 months ago that they added gold to their Wealthsimple Invest portfolios. And I think that this is definitely a good thing for longer term growth and exposure to that commodity and precious metal asset class, which not too many people actually have a portion of their portfolio in gold. Even still though, for a 10 risk level and a 90-10 split, the gold position is around 2.5%, so quite small, and the government bonds are 7.7%. And we can see right here the performance of each one of the ETFs in question that this portfolio holds. All right, so for the BMO Long Federal Bond ETF, the performance has been negative 6.7%, and the market value is $744. Now, if we click down here, we can also see the management fee that the actual ETF itself is charging. So this is on top of the 0.5% management fee that Wealthsimple is charging. The gold ETF fee, 0%, the BMO Long Federal Bond, 0.22%, and then some of these other ones are also going to show the same thing essentially. The US equity ETF being the Vanguard Total Stock Market ETF, 0.03%. So keep in mind that Wealthsimple, even though this is on top of the 0.5% fee, they're choosing ETFs that are very cost or expense efficient, I should say. So very low management expense ratios. And I still think this is significantly better than if you were to invest in mutual funds that are going to typically have management fees well above 1%, sometimes even going to 2%. Okay, so we've had a chance to dive into the platform and see what this platform has to offer from the inside. And now let's quickly speak about who I think Wealthsimple Invest is right for. So obviously, if you're an investor who's more interested in actively managing your account, buying and selling stocks, exchange traded funds, etc., well, Wealthsimple Invest is a robo-advisor. So obviously, this isn't going to be right for you. However, I think that for the type of investor who really does value investing and understands the benefit long-term, but is not interested in actively managing their accounts, researching positions, and basically just buying stuff themselves and doing research, this can be a great alternative that allows you to invest at a relatively low management fee considering what the service provides you, and this can be a great way to be exposed to longer term investing. And I also think that the auto rebalancing feature is in and itself extremely valuable for the average retail investor who might not be able to rebalance their portfolio on their own over time if they were doing it in a self-directed account. It's also great that the platform offers multiple risk levels that you can choose from with a simple slider, and based on what you select, Wealthsimple will give you an explanation of essentially what you're getting yourself into. I think that this offers the possibility for a range of investors to use the Wealthsimple Invest platform, and even myself, who is very much an active trader in most of my accounts, well, I'm happy to leave a smaller portion of a longer term portfolio with Wealthsimple Invest to see how the portfolio performs over time. And like I said earlier in the video, I recently just changed it to a risk level of 10. So I'm hoping that over the next 10 years, this will have a greater impact on the growth of the portfolio. Now, in terms of a couple of cons of this platform, there honestly aren't that many. I would say that one of the main cons for some might be the fees that can be considered to be a little bit high for what you're getting. However, like I reiterated earlier on in the video, I think that if you're the right type of investor for this platform, it is well worth it. A couple other cons might be the fact that You're not able to have active control over the positions that you're holding in the account. However, that's the whole goal of this type of account anyways. If you're someone who wants to be more active with your investments, obviously this will not be the right solution for you. Another element that could be considered a con is that a deposit to the account can take a couple of days to process. This is pretty much like any other type of brokerage account that is outside of your main bank account. So typically this takes a couple of days to receive the deposit. For example, if you are looking to make an RRSP deposit and you initiate it on the last day that you're able to make a deposit to your RRSP, it can take a couple of days to actually deposit and settle into the account. This can potentially be a con, but in the bigger picture, it's not really an issue. And ultimately, am I satisfied with Wealthsimple Invest overall? Well, at 3.4%, it's not the best return. However, let's consider it was a 50-50% split at a 4 risk tolerance out of 10. And this is something that's kind of on me. You know, I should have changed this earlier on. I've since changed it to a risk level of 10. And yeah, I think that, you know, the platform's honestly great. It's a good alternative for maybe even a secondary account that you do want to just park some money and kind of forget about it. So anyways, I really hope you enjoyed this recap on Wealthsimple Invest. If you enjoyed it, make sure to smash the like button, and also make sure to consider looking at the link down below where you can open up a Wealthsimple Invest account or a Wealthsimple Trade account, and you will get some free money for doing so. Also consider subscribing to the channel, hitting the bell button to be notified of new and upcoming investing content. I'm going to start speaking about a lot more topics about investing that aren't only stock specific, so hopefully you will enjoy the content that's coming up in the coming months. And on that note, thanks a lot for watching today's video. I will see you in the next one.